Test, test. Oh, that's good. That's a good pickup. No, I think he's last.
Is he? Because like I haven't yet. Okay.
Did you
I'm
want
not
him to?
sure. I thought he was going first this morning because he's announcing. I have. Okay. All right.
Quay, Jalasi. Thank you all for being here today with us to commemorate this special occasion. Deloisi Julie Pellisier Lush. My name is Julie, a proud Mi'kmaq woman of Abaguit and member of Lennox Island First Nation. I am humbled to be your master of ceremonies today. For all Islanders, for the Abaguit Mi'kmaq, today is a significant day as we celebrate our second year of Treaty Day being officially recognized on Prince Edward Island. Our day will begin with a prayer offered by Elder and Captain James Bernard. Chief Darlene Bernard will then be followed with her remarks as well as Chief Junior Gould, and ending with words from Premier Dennis King. There will be a ceremonial gift exchange following the remarks from our leadership, as was done by our ancestors during the signing of the peace and friendship treaties centuries past. This exchange will also be a photo opportunity. After this exchange, you will all be invited to join us at the flagpole right behind me as the chiefs and the premier raise the Mi'kmaq Grand Council flag together to honor Treaty Day. The Redstone Drummers from Abaguit First Nation will be performing at this time, and this will be another photo opportunity. Redstone will continue after the flag has been raised, and we will all be able to enjoy their song together. After this, we will close the ceremony with a few remarks, and our representatives will be available to the media at that time. Now, I would like to call on our elder, Captain James Bernard, to share with us his prayer.
One second. Excuse me, sir. I have to let the shoulders down first. Okay. There we go. Thank you.
Gwe, Dean, Gipton, James Bernard. And I'm from Lennox Island. I'm here to do a little prayer for you. And I'll start this with the O Great Spirit. O Great Spirit, whose voice I hear in the wind. Hear me, for I am young, small, and weak. I seek your strength and your wisdom. I seek your strength not to be stronger than my brothers and sisters, but to conquer my greatest enemy, myself. I seek your wisdom in every rock and leaf, so that I may find the secrets of life and hope to bring back to my people. May my hands forever hold the many beautiful things that you have made, and my ears be ever sharp to hear your voice. May my eyes forever behold the red and beautiful sunset, for when my life fades as the setting sun, I may come to you with straight eyes and a clean heart. Tahoe. I wanted to say a prayer for all our Mi'kmaq people out on the waters, but first, I'd like to tell you a short story about a Muse family. The Muse family used to live down by the West Point house, lighthouse there. And anyways, they got to cross the strait in a canoe. This was during the expulsion, I should say. Anyways, this Muse family went across there, and there was a man there, and he met up with a woman on the other side, a native woman actually, and they had some children together over a time, and something happened to the lady. Anyways, he moved on to Nova Scotia, where he met another native woman and had many children there. Anyways, as the years went by and decades and generations went by, we all remember the boat burning up there, do we? There was these two families got together and they started a big war up there, and they were burning each other's boat. But do you realize that these two families, the Muse from New Brunswick, and his other family from Nova Scotia, who were living in a French village all the time, and they were now French-speaking people, they were of the same family. So the big war was with families, the same family. Can you imagine that? We are all brothers and sisters, because when we say our prayer, we always start with our Father. So we are all brothers and sisters. So before you start a fight with your neighbor, make sure you know that. I will now go on with the prayer. Our Father. Nunchidan waso eben, Jeptik delawus and megadataman waso deltanen, Jeptik iganamuien, willa numalek, wiladus nanadel waso akik, Daliskadaski, Jeptik, Elp, Nanin, Daliskajulik, Mugamigik, Imek, Dalamud, Nigilisamiego, Option against Gisku, Biganamuin, Daliabitsik, Dokakjich, Wagai Willamit Dabanig, Elp Gale Niskam, Daliabitsik Duan, Elaway Wiltiek. Windigo, Malgaman, Mage, Winstedel, Mu, Gisalan, Gestawumkel, Windigo, Goe, Chigaladwin, Na, Deliach. Amen.
Willalan, thank you, Captain Bernard, for sharing your prayer and your story with us and beginning our Treaty Day ceremony in such a positive and compelling way. Now I will call on Chief Darlene Bernard to offer her words on behalf of the Mi'kmaq. Chief Bernard.
Gwe, Weliak Sikbu, Jalasi. Hello, good morning, and welcome. This is the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people of Abaguet. We are the district of Abaguet in the greater, our lands are called Mi'kma'ki. So welcome here today. Thank you, Julie, for your contribution today, and to Elder Captain Jimmy Bernard for your valuable contribution to our celebration here today in your words and in our language. I always am very appreciative when we hear our language at celebrations such as this. I also want to acknowledge and thank the drummers, Redstone, in advance for your songs. Thank you. Elders, Honorable Premier, Chief Gould, Senator Francis, councillors of the Abequit and Lennox Island First Nation, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. To everyone here, I would like to thank you for joining us in our second annual Abequit PEI Mi'kmaq Treaty Day. Last year was a first for PEI, when we met here to proclaim October 1st as Treaty Day here in Abequit, Prince Edward Island. Thank you again, Premier King. Walalin. Treaty Day is recognized annually in Mi'kma'ki as an opportunity to celebrate the Mi'kmaq treaties and to educate the public about the covenant chain of treaties. It is also an occasion to renew partnerships and friendships with non-Indigenous governments and partners. October 1st is the date of the signing of the 1752 Peace and Friendship Treaty. It is the date in the treaty to renew the pledges made in that agreement, the pledge that lives on today in all islanders, for all islanders to live in peace and friendship. So there is more than symbolism to this gathering today. It represents a resumption of one of the oldest partnerships between the Mi'kmaq and non-Indigenous people here in Mi'kma'ki. This year, the Abequit chiefs and councils have chosen to highlight the 1760-61 Peace and Friendship Treaty. This treaty is important for several reasons, but in particular because it served as the basis for the Marshall Decision. More than any recent Supreme Court of Canada decision on our treaties, the Marshall Decision is one that has had profound effect on the everyday lives of Mi'kmaq people, giving individuals and communities much greater resources, lifting people from poverty, and restoring pride to our people. While the Marshall Decision has greatly benefited the Abequit Mi'kmaq, the post-Marshall phase, without permanent arrangements to implement our livelihood treaty fishery, has existed for far too long. The 1760 and 61 treaty teaches us all how the Mi'kmaq people operated as a unified nation. For example, the Mi'kmaq terms in the 1760-61 Peace and Friendship Treaty were negotiated by Chief Paul Laurent from Le Havre, south of Lunenburg, and Chief Michael Augustine from Rishabukto, north of Moncton, in the region where we now find Elsipogtog First Nation and Indian Island First Nation, just across the water from West Cape PEI. When they agreed, they made it known that they were representing chiefs from throughout Mi'kma'ki, 14 of whom would visit Halifax to make peace on behalf of their bands. Chief Baptiste Lamoureux from Abequit made the trip in 1761 to sign the treaty and attend the burying of the hatchet ceremony. That ended the war with the British and brought peace to our homelands, brought peace to Mi'kma'ki. His brother, Rennie, also signed this treaty as chief of the Mi'kmaq in the Antigonish area, which is also the Mi'kmaq district of Abequit-Akpiktok. It clearly demonstrated in the application of the Marshall Decision that the 1760 and 61 treaty is alive here today in Abequit. Our Rights and Reconciliation organization, Ulnaway, has taken a lead in educating the general public about this treaty. Future treaty days can serve as an opportunity to highlight various aspects of the covenant chain of treaties. Awareness of Mi'kmaq history and culture, and indeed our shared history, as well as recognition of Mi'kmaq treaties, is central to reconciliation. This morning as I was coming, there was a song, and it kind of just struck me that that's really what reconciliation is really all about. If you've done someone wrong, make it right. In a world full of hate, be light. So I just love that. It just struck me as being really profound. It is important for all islanders to know and understand the treaties, and to know that these treaties are not to be feared. While my Mi'kmaq ancestors signed this treaty for me, there was another party, your ancestors, and they signed for you. It is important for us all to know that we are all treaty people, not just the Mi'kmaq. I would like to recognize and thank Premier King for being a true need-up, a friend to our people. His recognition of this day and now his commitment to establish a treaty education partnership between the provincial government and our rights organization, Ulnaway, is both a step forward and a sign of this true friendship. Thank you so much, Walalian, again. I am already excited to celebrate Treaty Day next year and to witness the launch of our shared treaty education initiative in the coming months. Hopefully, once the COVID-19 pandemic has passed, we can celebrate Treaty Day as it was originally intended to be celebrated in 1752, with a grand feast, a renewal of allegiances, and pledging to abide by the promises that we made to each other. Walaliog, merci, thank you.
Well, Alan, thank you so much for your words, Chief Bernard. And now I would like to invite Chief Junior Gould to come up and speak on behalf of the Abequit Mi'kmaq. Chief Gould.
I feel like Joe Biden walking up to the mic. Kwei, hello, bonjour, and to our First Nation community that's out there watching, I show you the international sign of in Mi'kmaq for greetings. Senator Francis, I'm honored that you were here in attending this. I appreciate that, and I think it's very important that you receive acknowledgement first and foremost, because I think our representation for Mi'kmaq in Ottawa, the way it was done traditionally with Ottawa and meeting with our people, to have representation at that table, I appreciate it, and I am honored to have you here with us. I know you will represent our community and represent all of Mi'kmaq in good faith. Well, I'll need up. On behalf of the Abequit First Nation, on a treaty day, on behalf of Chief Bernard, Lennox Island, and myself, I'm honored to be here with the Premier. The Premier has gone above and beyond as far as I'm concerned, and I speak on behalf of the Abequit First Nation, and I think I can freely say so for Chief Bernard, that he has gone above and beyond his political duty. He's gone above and beyond his mandate as a human being. He has gone above and beyond what he sees as being right in honoring the Mi'kmaq people in this community. In light of what you see around you and has been going on with the fisheries understandings and how deep core based it is in the land, how deep core based it is in the blood that flows through my veins, how deep it is for Prince Rhode Island to understand what's going on, he will continue to acknowledge that he understands. When leadership takes that role of understanding and try to open communications and have a two-way street, it's the only way for us to move forward in prosperity. We have given you that respect in the past as settlers who came to this region. We have given you that respect of open dialogue. We fed you, we housed you, we helped you get through these harsh winters. And all we're asking for thousands of years later is a little communication and respect in return. I recently went to Nova Scotia. Many moons ago, your court have allowed and recognized that we have a right to feed our families. We have a right not to be impoverished. We have a right to a moderate livelihood. A moderate livelihood isn't based on a Canadian lowest amount of money a family could make. It's a terrible idea that it hasn't been defined yet. It's been defined and put in as a regulation to monitor and put parameters around the right given by the Supreme Court of Canada in a second reading that says you have a right to a moderate livelihood. We'll define that later. 21 years later, it hasn't been defined. On Treaty Day in Nova Scotia, I know today more people in our First Nation community, I spoke with chiefs at the All Chiefs meeting yesterday, there will be more treaty rights being implemented as of today on Treaty Day to recognize that it coincide with this great day. It's them exercising their right to feed their families, to take their communities out of poverty, to fill the gap of housing initiatives that the federal government hasn't been able to fulfill for years. It's an obligation that leadership in the region has taken upon themselves to find their own resources, to explore in development and diversity of fisheries that we have been engaged in the past 21 years in light of the Marshall Decision. I won't speak to the particulars. We have great technical staff at Illinois, and I'm represented in that capacity very well. Both Chief Bernard and I are proud of what we've come, how far this initiative has come as a part of our governance, and all of the legal references to that can be made through that. I only speak from the heart, and I speak to the federal government, and hopefully Senator Francis can carry our message, and I know he will. I speak to the Premier of the province, because this province, we are lucky, Mi'kmaq are lucky, and I will say this, I've gone to plenty of meetings in Ottawa, out west, at the Assembly of First Nations, and what the national chief is telling the chiefs at the table, you have to go back and develop a relationship with your province in order to access federal dollars, in order to access the things that are in front of you that you never used to have access to. And he told everybody, go back to your province. Those monies are coming to your province. You have to have a good rapport with your province. Chief Bernard and I sitting in a room full of chiefs smiling, because we have a good relationship and we have a trust with our Premier in the province, and we are lucky to be a small province. We are lucky that the chief of the Abbotsford First Nation, salt water flows through my veins as the Premier. Salt water fills the hair of Chief Bernard and Lennox Island, where their wharf has access to these luscious lands and waters that surround PEI. We as a people have opened our doors and our hearts to the settlers when they first came. We're asking for a little rapport, a little conversation. Tomorrow, Chief Bernard and I will meet with the PEI Fishermen's Association. We will start the conversation, not asking permission, but engage in the province in the process that we are taking for our people. We are no longer going to allow our people to suffer. We are no longer to stand beside and allow our people to not have an opportunity to take care of themselves. The school issue, the housing issue, the inadequacies that were passed on to us by the residential aftermath are over. You have educated young people, these young men who stand around this drum, the Redstone drummers. We have drummed for years. A constable, fisheries officers, young hard-working mental health workers. They're the working environment of the Mi'kmaq. These are not lazy men. These are not lazy people. I fished for the Abbotsford First Nation without any education on fishing. I did it because we are the leaders of our community. We stepped up, and we will continue to step up. So, having said that, we, the Abbotsford First Nation and Lennox Island, will continue to entertain, implement our own moderate livelihood moving forward with help of Illinois, and we will fulfill all of our legal obligations. I think that the legal obligations that everybody else faces lies with your federal government. I think DFO rules and regulations, we will gladly work with them, Chief. We will gladly work with the Premier to make sure that this transition into the Abbotsford First Nation and Lennox Island First Nation access and a moderate living based on the treaties of old will be done peacefully and coordinated with a joint effort. And I think our Premier of Prince Edward Island has the skill set and the ability to help us go through this. So on a treaty day, which is a positive thing of moving forward, when the drum was here last year and we were honored to sing, we sang the Mi'kmaq Honor Song for the Premier, and he joined us. And I appreciate that, and that means a lot to our people. So what we're going to do today, we're going to share with you the Mi'kmaq community of Abbotsford First Nation, the Redstone drummers, who are the older generation. We're a generational drum group. This was passed on by my father and others in the community. We're the older group. We're going to share with you a medicine song. And what our medicine song is, it's a transition of an old song called White Skies. And it speaks of the days where the sun's shining and the men are hunting and the communities are happy and prosperity. So we use that song as our medicine song. What it does to us is it heals us and makes us proud to be Mi'kmaq. So the song at the very beginning, you'll hear it, is a slow tone. And when that drum starts beating, it calls upon our ancestors. I'm hoping that my father's spirit will come back. I'm hoping that our ancestors, the Mi'kmaq, will come and join us and stand around the drum as they hear our medicine song being played. The song will uptake and pick up into where it comes to a point where it shows pride in Mi'kmaq, shows pride in who we are. On this treaty date, I'm proud that the Mi'kmaq flag is here. I am proud that I was in Nova Scotia when all those fishery boats were flying the Mi'kmaq flag, and they were confronted by the settlers that we allowed into these lands, that we helped get those $1 million boats. I am proud to stand by the Mi'kmaq flag wherever the Mi'kmaq flag is flown. And with the drummers from the Abbotsford First Nation, we will share with you our medicine song. Lumsid Nogma.
Well, Alan, thank you for speaking to us, Chief Gould. I would like to invite now Premier Dennis King to come and offer his remarks on behalf of the province. Premier King.
Good morning. Thank you, Julie. And let me just begin by saying how extremely proud and a little bit emotional I was to open up the front, or to see in the front of the Guardian yesterday my friend, our poet laureate, releasing her second book. And I just remember it seems such a long time ago that when we worked together at the Confederacy, she came to me and said she had written a book, and I said, well, we should go about getting it published. And here, all these years later, number 2 was out, and she's done such an incredible job of sharing her story and the stories of so many with so many Islanders and beyond. So I think we need to give Julie a round of applause for another amazing effort. And Darcy, that mask is a winner. I got to tell you right off that I know the song coming from the drum today comes from a good place. For many reasons. So, good morning, Chief Bernard, Chief Gould, Senator Francis is here. I want to say thank you to Captain Bernard for that lovely prayer. And I believe at the opening of the prayer, he said that, "O Great Spirit, whose voice we hear in the wind." I don't think it's coincidence that the wind picked up just a little bit about 3 or 4 minutes after 10. I think the Great Spirit and so many others who have gone before us are looking down today. They are with us, and they're very proud of how far we've come and very, very hopeful for how far we'll go together. So it is a great honor for me as the Premier to be part of this special day again. I'm also the Minister responsible for Indigenous relations in this province. And as both chiefs highlighted, it is a job that I take extremely seriously. It's a job that I think we have needed for a long time to move the markers on, and I'm grateful that they have seen that we have made some strides together, but I know both of them well personally, and I have for a long time, and by no means have we gone as far as we need to go. So I don't need to tell you this, but let's keep pushing and keep going. Let me just begin also by stating the rather obvious that this year has been like no other. We have faced challenge after challenge, and we are still finding our way daily through to what we're hoping is some kind of new normal with COVID-19. And while that has been a large focus of our province, of our government, and for good reason, the business of the province needs to continue. The important work of reconciliation hasn't taken a break. Throughout COVID-19, we haven't stopped talking to one another to discuss the work that we need to pursue and how we can continue to work together to make our province the very best it can be for all of our residents. Treaty Day is a great opportunity for us to learn more about the PEI Mi'kmaq culture and history, but it's also a conversation that needs to be had about where we go from here. We cannot and must not just sit here and talk about the past. We need to find a way to learn from that past and build a great, successful future for all. This year we have, some special guests to help us with that. I hope that through our strong relationship, one that I have a tremendous amount of respect for, one that I know we will continue to grow, that we will carry on the great work that we have accomplished thus far. In our efforts to advance reconciliation, I'm proud of the steps that we have taken. The Interdepartmental Working Group and the Indigenous Working Group to address the calls for justice for missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls has been a positive step forward. The commitment to table a report every year to track the status of the implementation of the recommendations across government was something that I was very proud to initiate, and we're through year one of that, and we've accomplished many great things, but so much more yet to do. I'm also encouraged, as others are, by the ongoing dialogue under the PEI Mi'kmaq Canada Framework Agreement. We are working towards the goal of an accord that reconciles the rights and interests of everyone involved. This will help us better understand and will help better outline how the Mi'kmaq will exercise their constitutionally protected rights. And today I'm proud to share with everyone, Chief Bernard did steal a little bit of my thunder. I thought I had a big initiative to announce, but I'll ski in her wake one more time, just to say that we are proud that the province and the Mi'kmaq have begun to work together on a new research and education initiative. And while this is only in the early stages, the end goal is clear. We want to use the research to help us gain a better understanding of Mi'kmaq Section 35 rights, including treaty rights, and to share that research with all islanders through learning. This work will be collaborative. It will help us move forward together on what we need to do for reconciliation, including the framework discussions. And I do believe that both sides believe that the desire is to see the further expansion of our teaching curriculum to include the Mi'kmaq language learning and history in our island schools. So it's an ambitious step. We're in early stages, but every step we take forward together is a step in the right direction. After all, in my mind, that is exactly what meaningful change is in Prince Edward Island. When we raise the Mi'kmaq Nation flag together in a few moments, I hope that everyone who passes by it will take a moment to reflect on what we can do individually and collectively to make our province better. I've said it many times, but it warrants saying again that reconciliation is about many things. First of all, it's about respect. It's about collaboration. It's about learning. It's about caring, and it's about listening. But it's also about understanding of where we've come from, not being held back by where we come from, but using that learned knowledge that we have gained to help us chart a path forward to a successful future together. It's through the hard work of government and the leadership coming together that we can drive change. So let's do that again on this one island that we share and love. We can and will make Prince Edward Island the very best place to live, work, and raise a family. And I want to thank my friends and colleagues, Chief Bernard and Chief Gould, members of the community, their councils and all who are with us today, who are joining us today. Thank you for the work you have done, and let's keep up the momentum and let's keep moving forward. So thank you very much. Merci, walale.
Well, Alan, thank you so much, Premier King, for your kind words and all the things that are going to be moving us forward together. And now I would like to call forward the Premier and the Chiefs to come to raise the Mi'kmaq flag together. Again, please feel free to take photographs, and the Redstone Drummers will honor us with a song while the flag is being raised. Wilalio, thank you for joining us in participating in our Treaty Day event. The official party will now be available for the media, but we're going to have our amazing drum group sing one last song to celebrate this amazing day. This brings our commemoration to a close, and I am humbled to have been part of this important day. Unset Nogma, all my relations. Wilalio, thank you.
We'll just stand by the drum and
Sure, yeah. I'll stand beside you.